Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Gen Z Finance. I'm an older Gen Z here on YouTube documenting my financial journey. Today's video is going to be something a little bit different. This is the first type of video like this I am doing. Normally I share my financial journey and financial numbers mainly inside of my budget, which I use You Need a Budget or YNAB to track all of my numbers. But I have been working for the past couple of months on some spreadsheets outside of the system so that I can track more specific numbers or just trends that I think are interesting. So I wanted to share a couple of things that I've been tracking for Q4 of 2020. So that's what you see here on the screen. I am inside my money spreadsheet collection on Google Sheets, and I'm going to walk you through several spreadsheets that I have been using. So on screen right now, you can see I have my passive income tracker. So this tracker is inspired by another YouTuber. I believe their channel name is Rebecca's Quest to F.I.R.E. She does lots of videos about her financial journey and her financial numbers, which I personally find really interesting. And every month she goes over how much she brought in passive income, and her spreadsheet looks somewhat similar to this. So I just kind of copied her and added things in that made sense specifically to my situation. You can see on the passive income tracker that there are 5 major categories. I have my investment growth, savings, interest. This section is called side hustles suck, so this would be to track any income from my side hustle. But I'm calling it side hustle suck because I have a lot of conflicting opinions on side hustles. I could probably do a whole video on them. Long story short, I just hate how I feel like people, especially in the personal finance community, pressure you to always have a side hustle and to always find a way to be making money doing things that you just like to do. Why can't we just have hobbies anymore? So that's why it's called side hustle suck. Cashback apps or referral links or affiliate links I would track here, and then credit card rewards. And then something I wanted to mention before we get too much into this is down here at the bottom, you can see I have this asterisk and it says money I actually brought home. So anything that has an asterisk on it, which for right now is only the savings interest category, is money that actually I took home and took into my monthly budget. The only money that I'm actually seeing inside of my budget is everything in this savings section. Obviously, with my investment growth, I'm not seeing that money every month. So it's not necessarily money that's actually impacting my budget or what I can spend or save or anything. It's just out there in my net worth, increasing my net worth. And then similarly with cashback apps and credit card rewards. So I'm tracking how much in cashback I earned that month, but this is not necessarily money that I am cashing out yet. I'll kind of talk about that a little bit more as we go through this, but I just wanted to say that up at the top. So in my investment growth section, I have my 5 investment accounts broken out by line, and I'm just simply tracking how much of a gain, or in October's case, I had several losses, I had in the account that month. So I have my investment gain or growth broken down by each month, and then on the right under the Q4 totals column, I have the total for that account for the entire quarter. So even though October was kind of an ugly month for my investments, in November and December it was quite positive. So overall my investments grew by $2,284.31. Now this does not include any contributions. To make sure everyone understands, here's an example. Let's say at the beginning of the month my 401k had $100 in it. I added $200 to it. So the balance based on that is simply $300. But at the end of the month, my account balance was $325. That means that there was a $25 investment growth. And so that $25 is what I would enter in for my spreadsheet here. So next we have my savings interest. So I get interest on my checking account at my credit union and my savings account at my credit union. My savings account is a high yield savings account. And then I opened up a Chase checking and savings account, I believe at the end of November, to take advantage of a bank bonus that Chase was running. So in December, I got 8 cents from my Chase savings, and that had $15,000 in it. And you can see in October, back when all of that $15,000 was in my credit union savings, I was getting almost $8.30 on it compared to 8 cents. So the high yield savings account at my credit union is definitely a much better yield than I would get at a regular savings account. But because I met the requirements for my checking account, I did get a $200 bank bonus. So I'm tracking that here. And so overall in Q4, I brought in $217.10 in savings interest or bank bonuses. I have yet to bring in any money in a side hustle in cashback apps. So this is not something I expect to see money in every single month. But in November, I signed up for Rakuten, and they were running a promotion where if you signed up using a referral link, you got $40 in cash back once you made a $40 purchase. So I got the $40 for hitting my referral bonus, and then I sent the link to my mom, and so she used my referral for herself as well. So she got $40, and then because she used my referral link for it, I got another $40, so that is $80, and then the other $10.70 is just the normal cash back that I was able to get in November just from using their website. Now, something to note here is even though I earned this in November, I'm actually not going to get this check from them until February, but I decided I wanted to track how much in cash back I was earning the month that I earned it, not necessarily the month that I get paid out for it, at least when it comes to the cash back and credit card rewards. So it's the same thing here in credit card rewards. In total, I brought in $64.31 in the past 3 months, and I actually am pretty happy with this. I don't expect it to be as much every single quarter going into 2021 because the majority of this came from buying Christmas presents, and when I'm not buying Christmas presents, I rarely have enough purchases on my credit cards to really rack up lots of points. So I think $64 for 3 months is like amazing for me. So in total, my passive income for all of Q4 was $2,656.42. I also have tracked this number taking out any of my investment gains. So without looking at the investment gains, I only brought in $372.11. Either way, I'm really happy with that. And then the money here in this gray, that's tracking my monthly dividends. These monthly dividends are already accounted for inside my investment growth. This $167.72, that is across all 5 of my accounts, and that growth is already accounted for in this number. So that's why this monthly dividends is not inside the investment category, because then it would be double counted. But I did just want to know, just for myself, and I think it's a somewhat interesting number to track, how much of that growth every month comes from dividends. I'm not an expert in dividends. I don't invest specifically for dividends. I invest in more broad market index funds. However, when you invest in the total stock market, dividends just come with it. But I believe a lot of those index funds or ETFs that I purchase pay out quarterly, or they pay out every couple months. But whatever it was, December was definitely a month where all of my index funds decided to pay me out my dividends. So in total, in Q4, I brought in $170.31 in dividends. And then the final number I have here, that is simply titled YNAB. This tracks the number of people who used my referral link with YNAB, which there is always a referral link to YNAB in the description box of all of my videos. And every time that you use my referral link for a 34-day free trial, and then you sign up and subscribe to YNAB to continue using it, both you and I get an extra month for free. So in October, I had 2 months added on to my subscription for YNAB, and then in November 1 person did that, and then in December 3 people who had used my referral link officially signed up. In total, I got 6 months of YNAB for free in Q4, and I did want to track this. It's not necessarily part of my passive income numbers, but it is a statistic I want to track, because every time someone uses my link and I get an extra month for free, it definitely helps me out and saves me a little bit of money, because the monthly cost for YNAB is about $7 a month. So by getting 6 months for free, that whittles down my monthly cost of YNAB to, I can't do math, but like $3.50, I think, somewhere around there. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has used my link to sign up and try out YNAB for themselves. It really is like a win-win-win situation. You win because you get an extra month of YNAB for free. You also win because you're getting a great system to track your money, and it will totally change your life. And then I win by getting an extra month for free. Okay, so that is my passive income tracker for 2020. I did just want to briefly show you that I have set this up as well for 2021, and I will be tracking all of these numbers throughout 2021. I didn't start tracking these numbers until Q4 of 2020, so that will be the beginning of the data that I have, but here is my spreadsheet for 2021. one, and then beneath each quarter I have the quarterly results, which I will post here. Okay, so the next spreadsheet I wanted to talk to you all about was my savings rate tracker. So if you have seen my financial goals for 2021 video, which I will link up top, one of the goals I had for 2021 was to define what a savings rate is for me and then consistently track it. So I took Q4 of 2020 as really like my test group or my pilot program for how I wanted to approach this. So on this spreadsheet, I am actually tracking 5 different percentages or rates. 3 of them are savings rates, and 2 of them are what I'm calling giving rates. So I'm going to go over all of them, but the definitions for each rate are up here at the top. So I have my investing rate, which is simply everything that I'm investing between my 401k, HSA, FICA alternative plan, my IRA and brokerage, divided by my total gross monthly income, including my full-time and part-time W-2 jobs, and then any cashback or interest I receive that month as well. So the second savings rate I have is highlighted here in purple, and I call this my not spent rate. Some people would, I think, just call this regular old savings. I don't like to call this savings because just because I don't spend money in a particular month doesn't necessarily mean it is quote unquote saved, like it's moved to my savings account. It could just be like I didn't spend all of the money I had set aside for dining out that month, but that money is going to roll over into the next month and I might spend more there. So that's why I don't like calling it a savings rate. So I renamed it my not spent rate. But what this looks at is my total spending or expenses for a month, not including any money I sent to investments, minus my net income, and then divided by my net income. And then the third savings rate is kind of like the combined between the two. I call it my combined savings rate. It is my invested and not spent rate. So this is looking at my gross income. I take all of my investing and the money that was not spent and then divide that by my total gross income, and that gets me how much of my money was either invested or not spent that month. Let's go into the spreadsheet and look at the numbers, and hopefully those 3 rates will make more sense. Looking at Q4 totals, over the 3 months, my paycheck investing, which I consider any money that is taken out directly from my paycheck, so deductions, my 401k, HSA, I invested $4,340.33. The investing that I did after that, which I call quote unquote me invest, so that includes any money sent to my Roth IRA or brokerage, was $3,250. So combined, I invested $7,590. I had $17,216 in gross income. So if I take how much I invested divided by how much I made, I had a savings rate of almost 45%. So for my not spent savings rate, my total spending and expenses for Q4, again, not including any investments that I did, was $4,444.08. And then my net income, it was $10,423.55. So if I take how much I spent minus how much I brought in net, that means $5,979.47 was not spent. I did not spend 57% of the net income I brought in. And so the final savings rate is, like I said, the combined savings rate. So taking my paycheck investing plus my not spent, which again, the not spent money already includes the money that I'm investing after I get my paychecks. In total, I either invested or just did not spend $10,319.80 of my gross income. That means that I either invested or did not spend almost 60% of my gross income. Okay, so if those are my 3 savings investing rates that I'm tracking, what is this 4th section? So this 4th section tracks my giving rate. So up here at the top, again, you can see my definition. So my giving charity rate is any donations to charity divided by net incomes. The second giving rate that I'm looking at is what I'm calling my all giving rate. So this formula is my donations to charity plus any family giving plus any money spent on gifts that month plus any random acts of kindness where maybe I send my friend $15 to celebrate a new job or whatever it is. So I add in all of that giving and then divide that by my net income. You can see in Q4 that overall I gave $322.55 to quote unquote charities. $793.06 was spent specifically on either gifts to my family, extra financial assistance to any specific family members. So in total, I gave $1,115.61. My charity giving percentage was only 3%, but my giving percentage, if I include all of my giving, is 10.7%. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to set my goal to for both of these percentages. You can see that in October and November, I gave less than 1% of my net income to charity giving, and that's just based on the $20 that I budget every single month towards that. I think my goal for charity giving is to first work on getting this up to 1% consistently. I'm just going to need to find some room in my budget to increase how much I'm giving to charity every single month, because I think not even being at 1% right now is kind of embarrassing and it's not something I'm really happy with. But I hadn't even realized how little I was really giving to charity based on my net income until I sat down and did this calculation on this spreadsheet. So I'm happy I know now, and I know that I can work on increasing it. And again, I just wanted to say I do have this saving, investing, and giving rate tracker set for 2021 as well. As the months go on, I will fill that in and keep you updated on the process. The final spreadsheet I'm going to talk about today is my safe withdrawal rate tracker. So this is pretty simple. I just have the month listed over here, the total sum of my invested assets at the end of that month, and then I take how much I have invested, and using simple formulas, I determine how much those invested assets would be able to provide for me if I withdrew 4%, 3.5%, and then 3%. I have it broken down by how much that would be yearly and monthly at each safe withdrawal rate. So these safe withdrawal rates are based on the 3 most common withdrawal rates for retirement, or at least early retirement. If you have seen some of my FIRE specific videos before, you might know that I don't actually have a specific FIRE number or FIRE target, and I'm also not sure how much I would be wanting to withdraw yearly. And that is why I have all 3 options available to me. I'm mostly focused on looking at this 3.5% withdrawal rate. I feel like since it's right in the middle of the 2 kind of extremes, it's perfect. I feel like it's like the little Goldilocks rule. So this is the number I'm mostly looking at, but for the most part, especially right now in my journey, since it's so early and like I said, I don't have a specific target in mind, I just think this chart is kind of fun to look at and track. So I could theoretically pull anywhere from $882 a year to $661 a year out of my $22,000 in invested assets, and I could do that for a while without running out of money. I'm obviously not going to do that or anything like that, but this is just a fun way to kind of see what my progress is. And then over here, I just kind of do some back of the napkin calculations and guessing as to how much I think my invested assets will be at each of these points. So these are just kind of, like I said, back of the napkin projections. They don't really matter. And then up here, I know it has a goal listed. I'm going to be completely honest. I just kind of added that in there for like fun. Like I said, I don't have a goal asset in mind or even like a goal date in which I would be retired. I don't have anything specific like that in mind or ready yet, so I just kind of entered that in. I entered in, okay, like what would it look like if you had $3 million invested, and this is how much that would be able to provide for you every year and month. So I can change this to $2 million, and you can see it would update across the board as well. So this goal row, I don't really look at that much. Okay, so that is all of the spreadsheets that I wanted to really talk about in depth on this video. So in this video, we covered spreadsheets 4 through 8. As you can see, I do have a couple of spreadsheets before the 4th one, and these just all have to do with my net worth. So I'm going to fit this in to this video really quickly. I'm not going to go too in depth on these spreadsheets, but the first one is just a visual net worth electronic tracker. And I was inspired by something I saw on My Wealth Diary's Instagram account, which if you don't follow My Wealth Diary on Instagram, I highly recommend. She has really pretty charts and really pretty numbers, and she had a tracker similar to this. So I just copied her a little bit and then added a couple of extra details for myself, all I do is whenever I hit a milestone, like when I hit this $40,000, I fill it in with a color, which is purple. I enter the date I achieved that milestone, and then this calculates the number of months since I hit the last milestone. So it took me 2 months to get from a $30,000 net worth to $40,000. And then this tracks the cumulative number of months since my beginning net worth of negative $28,000. If I unhide some of these rows, it does actually show every $10,000 from my starting net worth all the way to 1 million. But since I'm still working on the first $100,000, I just hide all of those other rows and just focus on this first section. So for the second spreadsheet, I'm going to zoom out a little bit and warn you, it's not very pretty to look at, but this is my real in-depth net worth tracker. So pretty much what I do is I take all of my assets and all of my liabilities and I track their balance at the end of every month and then the amount change and percent change from the previous month. When I'm tracking my investments, like with my 401k or HSA or brokerage, I also track how much I actually contributed to these accounts that month. Like for instance, you can see in December, I put in $1,523.11 to my 401k, and the account balance increased overall by $1,852. Here's my total assets, and then I do a similar thing for my liabilities, which includes my credit cards, and then when I first started, also included my student loans, but those have since been paid off. So I track the ending balances of my credit cards and include that in my liabilities, which leads me to this net worth section. So it shows my total net worth for every month, how much my assets and liabilities were as a little summary. Once again, it shows the amount and percent change from the previous month. And then this calculation shows the cumulative amount change since the beginning of my journey. From February 2019 through December of 2020, my net worth has increased by $71,070.07, which is a 252% increase. And then these columns also show the amount and percent change year to date. In 2019, I grew my net worth by $22,800, and in 2020, it grew by $48,000. This is a lot of data, and it's kind of ugly to look at, but I really like to look at this for really specifics, and I get a lot of this data from what I'm already tracking inside of YNAB. So I really just need to enter what my ending balance of each account is according to YNAB. And I also track in YNAB how much I'm contributing every month. So it's really easy for me to just plug these numbers in here for a bit more detail. And then the third spreadsheet just has a bunch of charts based on information in the second spreadsheet. And this just takes a bunch of charts and visualizes them. This first one breaks down my assets by buckets. So up here, I can just select the month that I want to look at. For example, we can look back at April of 2020, and this shows how much my assets were in each of these accounts at that time and creates this little chart based on it. So again, looking back at December, the reason I like this chart is because I really like to see the cash that I have on hand become a smaller percentage of my overall assets as my investments continue to increase at a greater pace. This chart also shows how much I contributed to my investments every single month. Again, this is not the total gain of the account. This is just what I added to the investments through payroll deductions or my Roth IRA contributions, things like that. And then for right now, the final chart that I have on this spreadsheet is this stacked line graph that shows the value of my pre-tax and Roth portions of my 401k. So you can see I didn't start contributing to my Roth portion until August of 2020, but this shows the overall total of my 401k in each month and then breaks it down based on how much of that is my pre-tax and how much is my Roth. I just like this because it's important for me to recognize that the majority of my 401k is pre-tax, but right now I am putting about 5% of my gross pay into the Roth portion. So I just like to know how much of it is Roth because those are two different tax treatments and it's just something I need to keep in mind. So those are the first three spreadsheets in my collection of spreadsheets in this Google workbook. And then it brings us back to the passive income tracker for 2020. So that is everything that I wanted to discuss with you all. I know I covered a lot. Right now, I'm still deciding how often I want to do check-ins like this on my passive income and my savings rate. Obviously, I just did a quarterly check-in for this video, but in 2021, I'm still deciding if I want to continue to look at it quarterly or if I want to do monthly updates as well. So let me know down below if you'd be interested in a monthly update or if you would like the more infrequent videos where I go over it quarterly. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you all are having a good beginning of 2021 and that, as always, you are staying safe and healthy. See you later.